Perfect. All right, perfect. So we are inside of Salesforce and we are currently looking at an opportunity. This is a brand new opportunity that I've created on the Eric Dalton account. And Eric Dalton is the opportunity owner here. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to get a quote over to a customer, and we're going to do all of that within Salesforce without having to leave. We're going to show you how we can do all of these cool calculations as well. So if I'm looking at the opportunity here, before we even create anything, if I go down here, we have a deal desk section where we can see total contract value for the first year or annual contract. We have ARR, MRR, we have margins, percentage, all of that. I'm going to show you how CPQ can automatically fill all of this in. So instead of sending a quote off to deal desk or sales operations or your finance team, whatever it may be, to run calculations in Excel, we're going to leverage the engine within CPQ to automatically calculate all of this just when we've created a quote. So the first thing we're going to do is actually generate a new quote. So we want to get this over to our potential customer. We're in stage 5 here of our opportunity, and we're just going to go up here. We're going to click create a new quote. So the first thing we're going to see is it's automatically attached to the account that we're generating this quote off of. I can change subscription terms here, and I want to set the primary contact as well so that when I hit send, it'll automatically send that quote to the contact that we want to dictate here. Another thing that we can change is the primary button. And this is great because we can leverage CPQ to present multiple pricing scenarios to a customer quickly and instantly. And then the one we agree on will be the primary, meaning that all of the metrics, all of the numbers, all of those line items will sync up to the opportunity, but we'll still be able to view all of those other quotes as well historically. But this is going to be great for automatically forecasting, being able to pull that information in. But we'll go ahead and have that set as the primary, even though this is the only quote. And we'll go ahead, hit save, and we'll generate that quote right here on the opportunity. All right, so we've created a quote. It's associated with this specific opportunity on this specific account. And you can see not really a lot of information here at all. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add line items to this. And this is really where we get into what CPQ is. And we're going to start first with the configure portion of CPQ. There's really 3 stages to it: configure, price, and quote. So as soon as we add line items, we're going to be presented with a screen flow here. This is the guided selling feature within CPQ that allows us to make sure that we are getting our quotes correct, right? Technically valid quotes out to our customer. So as you have more SKUs or you have more sophisticated bundles, services that have to be packaged together in specific ways, we can use this guided selling to ensure that we're getting those right quotes out. And so we can ask our rep a series of questions, and these will be dependent fields. So based on what we're saying here, what we're indicating, these fields will change. And we can go through this step-by-step process to make sure that we present the correct ones. And of course, this is fully customized to your process, to your customers. We can have different industries that can automatically dictate different terms and conditions or different bundled products or services that all go together, different ways that we quote those line items, different pricing, SKUs, all of that can be built into this optimization engine. And all your rep has to do is answer a series of questions and then hit suggest. And it's going to present out of all of our SKUs and all of our bundles, the 5, in this particular instance, top 5 product bundles that we offer that most align with what we've indicated. And I can go up here and we can change those around at any time and get a different set of bundles. But we're going to go ahead and select one. And when we do that, it will disarticulate this bundle and we can adjust it even further. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select the complete bundle. We can see a description of what it is here. We can have product images, all of that good stuff. As soon as I hit select, it's going to take this bundle and it's going to break it down into each one of its components. So here is where we can see each individual component of this particular bundle that's been pre-built out for us. So I don't have to go in and select one product and look at a knowledge article or rely on my intuition to see what other products go together. We're able to have all of this right here in one place. But furthermore, we can set logic up as well. So we can have things like pricing rules in place. So for this particular one, we have a volume by day, 1 gigabyte, and it's $50. But if I change this, let's say we do 100 gigabytes, and I apply these pricing rules, you'll notice that this unit price will automatically change as well based on what we've built out on the back end. So the rep doesn't have to change this unit price. They don't have to look at some sort of spreadsheet to understand what prices go with what volumes. You're able to break that down here. And this can apply for various different types of services, quantities, all of that stuff can be done here. We can even change quantities as well. So for this particular one, named users, maybe we want to do 150 right here. So we can quickly change that. We can also have products within a bundle that are mutually exclusive to one another. So you'll notice that if I've selected these, if I select, not mutually exclusive, that's on the next one. We have products that are dependent on one another. We'll get to the mutually exclusive ones in just a moment. So if I click any one of these down here, you'll notice I don't have the ability to do that until this particular disaster recovery is selected. As soon as I select that, then I have the ability now to select one of these. And this is where that mutually exclusive comes into play. If I select one, I cannot select the other. So we can build those rules out. So again, making sure that we are guiding our rep through this flow and that they're able to present an exact perfect quote to our customer in a quick, easy manner.
And if I could just really quick pause there to give you a real life example. So actually, funny enough, prior to joining Salesforce, both me and DJ used to work for Paylocity, which was the payroll company. So we use CPQ, and take, for example, he can attest this. There were times where we were trying to sell in your position, because you guys do payroll. We would try to sell clocks. And once we hit on clocks, there would be an automatic. It would drop us down before we did anything else, saying how many clocks are utilized. Are you doing for hardware clocks? Are they going to be rental? Are they going to be for purchase? So just to kind of give you a real life example as to what this would look like for you, we've utilized this, and it'll have that trigger event that's relevant to what's specific to you guys. So it could be clocks. It could be per employee per month. If you're running on specific cycles, we'd have to do a drop down for biweekly, monthly billing, whatever the case is. And then that would flow us to whatever we were allowed to select. So just to add some color as to something that would be kind of relevant specifically for you guys.
Great.
Fantastic. We can also set guardrails in place that limit their ability to save a quote based on certain inputs. So what do I mean by that? If we go over here to the IT operations tab, again, we have other options for things that we can select, and some of them are required. So you'll notice here the application monitoring, I cannot deselect that. That is simply a fundamental part of this bundle, and it will not allow me to take this particular line item away. It always must be there. But if we go down here, we can see we have this real-time alert that's selected. I'm just going to deselect that, and we can have hard and soft rules in place to guide our reps. So if I deselect that and hit save, it's going to think for a second, and it's going to tell me that we are simply not allowed to proceed until we select this particular one. So again, that hard rule, meaning you cannot progress forward until this particular line item has been saved. But also, and again, you can see these are mutually exclusive. If I deselect this and select this, in certain instances, we can have soft rules as well. So if I hit save now, it will open up a suggestion box letting me know, hey, based on past experience, customers who choose this particular line item, they also see success if they purchase this additional one. Now, this is soft because I can choose to proceed without this if I so choose, or I can close and go back and save it. So another way that we can have those guardrails in place, making sure that you have those technically valid quotes. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. We're going to transition from the C, the configure part of CPQ, into the P, the pricing part of it. Before I do that, do you have any questions about anything we've discussed thus far? No. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and hit save. And that's going to transition from the configure of the bundle into the pricing. And we're going to be able to see each one of these line items here now, and we can adjust the price if we want. So there's a few different options that we have. Now we can change the start date again, we can change the subscription terms, the expiration date, all of that. But then we also have more advanced discounting and advanced approvals as well. So if I see the total here is 37,490, if I want to apply a particular discount to every single line item, let's say 5%, I'm able to do that right here, and it'll just take 5% off of this total down here. But let's say the customer wants to target a certain amount. So I've had a conversation with my customer, and they're like, listen, we can't go over $35,000. We just can't do it. What I can do is I can type in a targeted customer amount for $35,000 here. We can do a quick save. And what it will do is it will look at the level of discount that I am allowed as a rep, and it will apply a discount across every single line item until we can get to this 35, still staying within the confines of what we're allowed to quote out. If I get rid of this right here, and we'll do a quick save just to remove all of that. I'll show you how we can also do individual ones as well. So we're back to our total here. Let's say I want to do individual line item discounts. So I could do a target dollar amount, but let's just do percentage. So for this one, I want to do a 5%. Maybe for this one, we'll do 10. For this one, we'll do a 20, and then we'll do a 30% discount for this right here. So I'm going to do a quick save, and what it's going to do is it's going to tell me whether or not I'm allowed to even quote that. And if I'm not allowed, what level of approval do I need? So for the 5 and 10%, and again, this is on individual line items, and I'll show you in just a second how we can dictate each line item has its own level of discounting that you can build into it. For these two, I can do a 5 and a 10, but for this particular one at 20%, I have to have my manager's approval, and at 30%, it has to go to my director for approval as well. So we're able to view all of that, and we can even preview these approvals up here as well. And what makes CPQ's approvals unique, or I guess a little more advanced, is that we don't have to send these out in a sequential order. So if we're looking at like standard quoting within Salesforce, we have approval processes there. But if it goes to my manager has to approve it. That triggers an automation to then send it to my director, then to my VP or whoever it may be. If at any point in that stage, someone declines it, they can dictate why they've declined it. We have to go through that process again. In order to speed up this approval process, CPQ will send these out individually to each one. And then when each person has approved, then it will allow me to go ahead and send this quote out. Furthermore, if my manager and my director approve, but my VP declines, when it goes back to me and I make those corrections, the approval will only go back to my VP because my director and my manager have already approved it. So there's no need for it to go back to them. Again, streamlining that process.
Yeah, and just with this too as well, like this kind of speaks to Michael when you were talking about how sometimes you'll have that quote, you'll go take it for approval, get a discount. If a discount's applied, we got to start the process all over again. This can now just be essentially a click of a button. Everyone gives a thumbs up, and we'll sync back and forth. So just a way to automate that a little bit.
And then each one of these line items, we can drop a tray down and we can get further bits of information on them. And then we can dig in even more to that. And that's where I can see, before I even ask for an approval, I can see at what level. So approval level 1, 2, and 3, what prices I can even ask for approval on. I can see the unit cost of this particular line item, as well as the list, as well as the current price, standalone selling. Again, you can customize this to visualize whatever bit of information that you want so that your reps at a quick glance can get all of that information right here. We can even have discounted schedules as well. So you can have lower and upper bounds. So if you're doing quantity-based discounting, you can set that logic up. That's something that Salesforce does here. If you buy 5 licenses, you're not going to get the same discount as if you bought 100 licenses. And so we can set that logic up right here so that your reps don't have to think or do anything really.
That would be employee count for you guys too, right? We're dealing with small business at 30 under, whatever, anything plus that mid-market, that'll just auto flow and make those triggers.
Yep, absolutely. But this is pretty much, looks good to me. We have a few approvals, but I think this is right around what they wanted to target anyway. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit save, and we'll actually go into the quoting portion of it now. Before I do you have any questions about any of this? Straightforward. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and hit save, and let's go into the Q portion of CPQ. All right. So if my internet office works a little quicker, you can see now we're starting to get these rich visualizations, these breakdowns of quote products, deal revenue by product family, deal revenue by ramp. And if we scroll down here, all of that annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue, total contract value. CPQ has automatically calculated all of this deal desk information for us, and we can automatically send this over to our finance team, our contracts, our order team, sales operations, whoever needs this. We've done this automatically just by creating this quote here. Furthermore, we talked about our preview of approvals. We can also set these approvals up to dictate changes on the quote as well. So not just percentage discounts or total discounts, but if I want to go down here and let's say I'm having a conversation with the customer and everything looks good, but we can't do net 30. Let's do net 90 as an example. I'm just going to change the terms of this quote to net 90. We'll hit save here. Everything looks good. But when I go to preview my approvals before I can even send this out, you'll notice that now billing is involved for a non-standard payment term. So even fields, we can dictate what the approval process looks like here. But this looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and submit this for approval. There we go. And we've sent it off. They've looked at everything, and you know what? It looks good. So I've got approval for this. I'm actually going to go ahead and generate this quote, and we're going to send it to the customer. So I'm going to hit generate quote right here. It's going to think for a second. And what we have here is, I think, really cool. We have the included content, which is the quote document, obviously. But CPQ can look at every single line item. It can look at all of our products, all of our bundles, and we can hold a repository of things like marketing collateral or how-tos or information about specific products. CPQ will recognize that we pulled a specific bundle or a specific line item or product, and it'll say, hey, we have additional content for what you're sending a quote out for. Let's just attach that to the quote so that the customer gets a little bit more of an ROI or an understanding of what they're actually looking at here. And if I go to preview this, and while it's thinking here, you can see the send with DocuSign. We can integrate with pretty much any e-signature platform, DocuSign, PandaDocs, all of that we can plug right in. And then we can generate these beautiful quotes. So you have the watermark here. When we send this to the customer, they sign, that'll all go away. And this is customizable, right? So you can dictate what it looks like, your image, your brand, all of that good stuff here. We can see who we prepared it for because we're just pulling right off of the opportunity. We can see who prepared it because we're logged into Salesforce. We can see all of these line items here, all of the T&C, which can be standard across all of your quotes, or because we know the account, we know the location, we know what we're quoting them, we can have dynamic T&C so that we can drop that in based on, if we have terms and conditions in California that's different than New York, or a certain industry that's different from another one, we're able to dictate all of that automatically here. And then down here at the bottom, you can see where they can sign. This is where we would embed that e-signature. Simply click, sign it. That's going to flow back into Salesforce. And then down here at the very bottom, we have that marketing collateral assigned to it or attached at the bottom, just letting the customer know, hey, this is a little bit more information about what you're looking at on the quote. And again, you can have this fully customized. You can have full libraries of various different types of documents as well.
Looks like that one was in Latin. Did you see that?
Yeah, so a lot of this stuff, it's just fake. It's gibberish, right? But any questions about anything so far? How's this landing with everyone?
Looks wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, I guess I would put it up to you, and I know that, again, we kind of went over some of the pain points, but does this look like something realistically that you guys could see value in having and automating that whole process? Is it worthwhile in terms of looking at, or is it maybe a future state thing that down the line this might be something nice to grow into?
I think it's worthwhile looking at right away. Really do.
Good.
Same. I see a lot of value in this.
Great.
Let's go ahead. Let's exit out of that preview and we can go ahead and send this off. So we can save and email this. It's going to automatically save this specific quote this specific document to the quote, it'll go ahead and send it out to our main contact, Eric Dalton, and we're able to go back and reference this at any point in time. So I can go back to the quote here, and you'll notice that we've also automatically ordered this. So if you look at the quote line items, we can see all of that information, right here. And we can automatically generate orders, and we can automatically generate renewal opportunities as well, and I'll show you that in just a second right here. But again, we have all of this information. If we go back to the opportunity here, you're able to see all of the information on the opportunity has now been filled out. All of our products on the opportunity and all of the associated information with it has been filled out. And we have the main quote here. And of course, I could add multiple quotes as well. I can change which one's the primary, or we can have an automation set up so that if I send them three, the one that they sign automatically is the primary. And then all of this information is just automatically synced up right here. So we're able to view all of that. And then we can even close win this. Of course, we can set automations off so that this is automatically close one. And as soon as we do that, you'll notice that the products have changed and we've automatically generated that new order document. Right here. And if I go back to my account, a little error up here, you'll see that we've automatically created a contract renewal opportunity as well right here. And then all of that information, the quotes you can see here, the line items, any subscriptions, if that's a part of it, and the assets are all down here. So we're able to fill out all of this information automatically right on the opportunity, simply by sending out a quote and allowing our customer to sign for it. So that is pretty much it with CPQ. We've generated a quote, we got all of our documents together, we sent it out, and we've automatically created all of this information right on the account. Told you quick, easy, about 20 minutes. What to pause here. What questions do you have about anything we've discussed thus far?